Hello, this is Mr. IK, and my goal is to raise your confidence in math. Here we have a problem where we are trying to factor a trinomial that has an a of -1. So when we say that the a is -1, we are simply saying that there is a negative to the left of the x squared. That's all it means. So how do you factor when there is a negative to the left of the x squared? That's really what this video is about. So before you even do anything, your first task is to try to rewrite the problem. We want to rewrite the problem so that way we don't have to deal with this negative anymore. So is there a way to rewrite this problem, negative x squared minus 12x minus 35, in such a way that there won't be a negative anymore to the left of the x squared, right? So the only way to make this happen is by dividing the entire problem by -1. If you divide the entire problem by -1, then you will have a negative outside the parenthesis, and then inside the parenthesis, you will get whatever you have after you divide by -1. Okay, so after you divide by -1, so let's see what happens here. If we divide negative x squared by -1, notice how the negatives disappear and we just have a positive x squared, which is the goal here. So we've accomplished the goal right now. Okay, we've gotten rid of that negative that was attached to the x squared. Let's do the next one here. Okay, let's find out what negative 12x divided by -1 is. Negative 12x divided by -1 gives you a positive 12x, right? And then the last one here is negative 35. Negative 35 divided by -1, okay, that gives us a positive 35. Okay, so we just took the original problem, negative x squared minus 12x minus 35, and we just wrote it in a different form, right? We wrote it in a different way by taking out that -1 that is in front of the x squared to the left of the x squared, and then just finding out what remains after you divide everything by -1. Okay, so after you do this step, you can then go ahead and just factor. Okay, you can just go ahead and factor this right here, because now we don't have that negative attached to the x squared anymore. So we can just go ahead and factor this right here. And you can factor using the box and diamond method or the Xbox method, which I actually made a video about that Xbox method of factoring. Okay, you can watch the video using the link above right now. Or you can use the foiling method, depending on which one you like better. Okay, I like to use the Xbox method or the box diamond method. So if you don't know how to factor already, you need to watch that video before you continue. But if you do know how to factor, then you know that after factoring x squared plus 12x plus 35, so after you factor this trinomial here, you're going to end up with x plus 5, okay, and x plus 7. All right, so after factoring, that's what you're going to get. But here is the most important part of this. You have to bring down the -1 as well as part of your answer. Okay, because remember, you took the -1 out of the problem. You took the -1 out of the problem here at the start. So you need to make sure to put it back when you write your final answer. So my final answer is -1 times x plus 5 times x plus 7. So -1 has to be right here in front of your factors. Okay, so in summary, whenever there's a negative in front of the x squared, all you have to do is take that negative out by dividing the entire problem by -1, okay, then factor whatever it gives you. So after you divide everything by -1, you should have the x squared should be positive now. Like you shouldn't have that negative anymore attached to the x squared. So go ahead and factor that new problem that you have, and then just make sure to attach the -1 that you took out at the beginning with your answer. That's all. One thing to keep in mind is when you divide by -1, every sign in the problem is going to change to the opposite thing, right? So this negative here changes to a positive. The -12 here changes to a positive. The -35 changes to a positive as well. So that's one thing to keep in mind because you're dividing by a -1. Okay, so that's how you factor when there's a negative in front of the x squared. I want to do one more example just as a bonus, but if you already got it, you can go ahead and move on and do your homework or whatever brought you here. For this second example, we are asked to factor -x squared minus 4x plus 5. So again, the very first thing that we do is we're going to try to take this negative out. And how do we take the negative out of there? We simply divide everything by -1. So we're trying to take this negative out. So divide everything by -1. So what does that do now? We simply change our problem. Again, we put that -1 that we took out and then write whatever we get. Okay, write whatever you get from dividing the problem by -1 in here. Okay, so what does that give us then? We will get, for the first one, we have -x squared divided by -1. That gives us positive x squared. So again, the signs basically change to the opposite thing. Okay, for this one here, we have -4x divided by -1. That gives us positive 4x. Okay, and then for the last one, we have positive 5 divided by -1. What happens to that? It changes to a -5. So again, the signs basically change to the opposite thing. Okay, so once you've done that, all you then have to do is factor this, okay, because we've removed that negative that was attached to the x squared. So when you factor this, okay, again, I have the video for factoring a basic trinomial using the X-box method or the box diamond method, okay? But when you factor, you're going to end up getting x plus 5 and x minus 1, okay? And then you cannot forget this part. You have to bring down this -1, okay? You have to include the -1 in your answer, okay? So my answer is -1 times x plus 5 times x minus 1, okay? So that's the full answer. So that's how you factor, guys, whenever there's a negative in front of the x squared. Hopefully you guys find this helpful. If you do, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel so that I can continue to make more videos for you. If you have any math questions, feel free to just send me an email, okay, and I'll do my best to make a video for you and post it on this channel as well. All right, well, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.